Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to make a quick video on this new KSM foundation bridge that I got for my Fender P-Bass that you can see right there. I've had one of these foundation bridges before on an older bass that I used to have, and I loved it. It was a 5-string version, and I don't have that bass anymore, so when I got this one I was excited to get another foundation bridge and put on it, and I thought that this time I would do a little before and after video. So play a few clips with the stock bridge on the bass, try to play those same clips with the foundation bridge on the bass, and see how the difference sounds. And then I'll also let you guys watch me put it on. It's a really quick swap, and I'm going to be playing that Fender. It's a made in Mexico precision bass special. It's got the PJ setup for the pickups with the active preamp, bass, middle, and treble, and then pickup blend. So everything's just going to be set on center, volume all the way up. I'll take a picture of my settings on the amp if you're interested. It's just an Ampreg Micro VR, whatever they are. I forget what they are, but you can see it there. I'll take a quick snapshot of the pictures, and yeah, you guys can see what you think. All right, let's get to it. Okay, here's a quick shot of the settings on the amp. The minus 15 dB pad is on, and then the knobs are turned about like so. Limiter is off. Just playing with oh, what is that? It's actually an Audix drum mic for a kick drum. I thought might as well throw that on there and see how it sounds. And then I've also got the direct out from the amp hooked up, and those two are going across the room here to a PreSonus Firebox, which is where the magic is happening, over into this Ableton project that I'm recording the audio. So that is the gear setup. Quick shot of the P-Bass. Your basic made in Mexico P-Bass, pretty much. Well, I guess it's the special or whatever it is. But so that's the gear. Let's see how it sounds. All right, so here we have the bass with no strings on it. There are the strings right there, which we're hanging on to because they're going to go right back on the bass when we get the new bridge on. And that way we can see how the sound changes with the same set of strings on there. Here's the KSM foundation bridge. So it just comes in a little plastic container. There's the bridge up close. This one's black, so it might kind of be hard to see the nooks and crannies on the video there. You can feed the strings in through the back, or it is drilled for string through the bottom. Yeah. Good looking bridge. All right, so there's that. So there is an instruction manual. Have a qualified professional install this. I'm not a qualified professional, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Explanation of how everything works. Yeah, shows us which holes match the fender bolt pattern, which is conveniently what we're going to do, and where we can drill 2 fresh holes optionally if we want to do that. Oops. So yeah, let's check that out. What else we have? 5 screws. 2 Allen. Yeah, the camera cut out on me, but yeah, it's just showing the 2 Allen wrenches that also came in the package, and that is everything we need. So the first thing we're going to do is take the bigger of the 2 Allen wrenches, and we are just going to loosen up these 7 bolts around the rim here. They're pretty much loose already, but we're going to take these saddles out, and a couple middle saddles out, so that we can put the bridge on. Make sure I'm doing this in view, I guess, so you can see what I'm doing. If I can figure out how to speed the video up here, I will. Or maybe I won't, just so that we can see how long it takes to install one of these. Okay, so we have the back plate off. We can slide I'm just going to take the middle 2 saddles out. And then leave the outer 2 saddles in. What the heck, let's take them all out. Why not? Okay. So saddles out, there is the base plate of the bridge, a whole bunch of holes in it. The 4 holes across the back here are for the string through, if your base is string through. The 5 holes up front are for mounting it to the body. And then of course there's holes in the back for strings to go through the back of the bridge, for ones that are loaded in that way. So set that aside. The stock fender bridge on this bass is, there we go, just a pretty standard fender bridge. Let's pull it off, and we can get a good look at it. Comes right off. So yeah, you can see the 5 holes there. Oh man, trying to center this. Okay, or the 5 holes there for the screws that we just pulled out. It's got the 4 holes on the back for the strings that go through. Otherwise, it's just a pretty basic bent piece of metal in a 90-degree angle. Some threaded saddles on there, and yeah, that's about it. So let's take the foundation bridge, line it up with the holes, make sure that the ground wire is still sticking through and that you get contact on the bare part of the foundation bridge so that your ground connection is still there. And this is going to be a little hard to see because of it being black on black, but 3 of the 5 original fender holes line up with the KSM foundation bridge, and then 2 do not line up. So let's go ahead and put a screw in the 3 that do line up. Get them started by hand. Make sure that they're straight. Probably should do them all the way by hand, but I don't want to. Okay, so there they are started. Let's run them down in. Okay, so give them a little bit of a tightening by hand. Okay, so there we go. That base, or that bridge, is actually on there pretty solid with the 3 screws that are lined up. I could drill an additional 2 holes here so that I can have all 5, and I'm going to do that at some point. But I think for right now, for this video, I want to just do the 3. Just to show how quick and easy this can be. So I'm going to drop the saddles back in, and they will just slide right back in where they were before. This pinch plate is loose, which is what allows these saddles to have a little bit of room to slide in there. If that were tightened down, it would probably not be so easy to slide them in. Okay, and then we'll put this, I don't know what to call this plate, but I'm sure the manual tells us, clamp plate. There you go. So we'll put this clamp plate back in place. Grab our hex screws here and our hex wrench. And let's just, I'm going to leave them kind of loose. Just going to put them in there so that the plate's not falling off. Okay, so that plate's on there, but it's still kind of loose. The reason I'm leaving it loose is because I'm going to want to set the intonation on this so that the saddles are about where I want them. And to do that, I'm going to need these plates to be loose, and then when that's all done, I'll tighten them up. So it's time to throw the strings on. Maybe before I do that, it's a good idea to kind of eyeball the saddle alignment. And just see if maybe things are about where I would want them to be. I'm going to say that they're close enough for me to throw the strings on, although I'm obviously going to do some adjustment with that once we get the strings on for the intonation. And then as far as height goes, this is actually the trickier part of setting up the foundation bridge. So these ramps slide up and down, and they will be the thing that controls your string heights. There's a little smaller screw inside of there that you can use. So a little reminder here, keep the bolts around the edge there loose before you adjust everything. Adjust the height before you adjust the intonation, since doing the intonation or doing the height will move the intonation anyway. And it's all by a qualified tech, which I am not, but we're going to give it a go anyway. I pretty much had this base set up before, according to what Fender says in their manual, which is use a ruler and measure at the 17th fret and get it about 6/64 which is a lot like 3/32. So pick the one you like best out of those two and set it about there. So with that in mind, we would take this ruler, which has got a side for 64ths and 32nds. I don't know if it'll show up, and we're going to go to the 17th fret. Stick that on there, just underneath. It's not going to probably show up very well on the camera, but that's closer to 2 32nds or 4 64ths. So it's too low to start, which is not surprising. It's just out of the box. I haven't done anything to the height yet. So I'm going to take the smaller of the two Allen wrenches that came with it. I'm going to slide in right down under the string where the string crosses the saddle. And I'm going to start turning it clockwise, which is going to, I think clockwise is going to raise it. Yeah, if I turn it clockwise, it's going to raise the saddle for this low string here. And so I've given it a few turns there. I'm going to come back and check it. It's closer to 2.5 now, or 5 64ths. Give it a few more turns. And just check it again. I might have gone a little too far. Well, no, that's not bad. I'm just going to back it up half a turn or so. Okay. That is a lot like 6 64ths or 3 32nds, as the manual said. And then I'm going to follow that process on each saddle, measuring at the 17th fret each time. And in theory, that should get my string height to match the radius of the fretboard at 17th fret all the way across. And that's how Fender suggests that you do it. So I'm going to do that, but I won't bore you with all 4 strings, then we'll come back. Alright, so we're back and the string height is adjusted. I don't know how well it's going to show up on this camera, but set everything to closer to probably 5 64ths, just a little bit lower than the Fender manual says, which is kind of where I like it. You can set yours wherever you feel most comfortable. String height's kind of a preference thing. And so yeah, so it'll be set to the same height as the strings were before, just so that we can make sure we have a fair comparison of how these things sound. And then the next thing I want to do is set the intonation. And so the way that you're going to do that is you're going to tune a string. So that's tuned to D sharp or E flat. And then you're going to fret that same string on the 12th fret. And ideally it would be right on the mark in both places. So this one's coming up a little bit sharp, which means the string is a little bit too short from the 12th fret to the bridge, and I need to make it a little bit longer. So to do that, I'm going to take the bigger of the two hex wrenches or Allen wrenches or whatever they're called. I'm going to put it in from the back here, which is where the intonation adjustment screws are. And I'm going to turn this clockwise. And turning it clockwise is going to pull this saddle backward and make the string just a little bit longer. I'm going to give it a handful of turns, and then we will retune the string. Check the 12th fret. We're still sharp. So I'm gonna keep going on the saddle, bringing it back. And normally you want to do this with the guitar in playing position, which is actually what I'm going to do. I just wanted to kind of show you what I'm doing. Some of you probably already know how to do this anyway, but for what it's worth. Okay, we're getting close. So let's go a few more turns. That's pretty close. We're about there. I really need to do this with the guitar in playing position, but you get the idea. I'm going to do that on all 4 of the strings. So now all we got left to do is tighten down these couple of clamps. So tightening down this back clamp is actually going to lock down the intonation screws. So at that point, these saddles won't be able to move anywhere forward or backward, which is one of the great things I think about this bridge design that you don't have in some more traditional bridge designs like the stock bridge. And then this, what's it called? It looks like it's called a pinch plate, is actually going to squeeze the saddles in against this top plate here. So that's going to keep the saddles from making any movement up to down. So between these 2 plates, these saddles are going to be locked in all 3 directions of movement. So back to forward, they're not going to be able to move at all. Crossways, they're not going to be able to move at all. And then up and down, between a combination of the string tension holding them down and this back plate holding the adjustment bolts down, it's going to be locked down solid. So let's do it. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be done in a particular order. Meaning, should I do the clamp plate or the pinch plate first? I really don't know, but I'm just going to do the clamp plate first, kind of just barely finger tight, and then snug the pinch plate down. Okay, and then I don't think these necessarily have to be all that tight on there to do their job. And I don't think they're going to come wobbling loose on you, to be honest. They never did on the last bass. I had one of these. So I'm not going to overkill on tightening these. I'm just going to snug them up good and snug, and it should do the job. Okay, everything's set up, everything's tightened down, nothing's moving or going anywhere. We are in business. Let's hear how it sounds. Okay, let's see if I can remember what I played before. Settings are all the same.